So for my project, I decided to try and convert from being left-handed to right-handed, and one thing that really helped me make this decision was one day I really hurt my hand, so it was really painful to write or move it at all. So I actually kind of had to start trying to write with the other hand just a little bit because it just hurt way too bad otherwise. The other reason I did it was because of my mom. She's always been worried that she put the pencil in the wrong hand when I was younger, because a lot of other things that I do seem to be with my right hand. So we were both kind of curious to see if I could switch easily from one hand to the other. Okay, so my problem is that whenever I write with anything that's smudgeable, pencils, markers, whatever, it'll smudge. And always, when I'm about ready to be done, so then I actually have to start all over, or during tests, I'll have to erase the whole answer just because I can't read it anymore. So how do I expect anyone else to be able to? The other problem that I have with being left-handed is that classrooms are kind of built for the right-handed people. You have desks that have the support on the right-hand side, which is not always comfortable for me because that means I have to turn to try and get something that's somewhat comfortable. And the desks are uncomfortable as it is, so that just kind of makes it worse. So being left-handed actually has had several effects on me. It's made me really frustrated at times to the point where I've actually cried because, assignments for me that should take about 5 minutes end up taking about 15 or 20 minutes. And that's really frustrating for me because I know what I'm doing. And to be held back by something like writing frustrates me to no end. So because I have to focus so much on the writing, I get unfocused on everything else. So I'll hear what the teacher's saying, I'll be writing it down, but mostly it's like, don't mess up, don't mess up. So then later I have to go back and try and understand it from the beginning, which is not fun. And also these two things compounded make me lose time because I have to go back and relearn stuff that I should have already learned, and then I've lost time having to redo things. So it's just, I can see the clock just going around and around and around, and it makes me really upset. And all those things together make me really stressed out. So this semester, especially with my Japanese class, which requires me to do a lot of symbols, has made me really stressed out at times because I'll need to study for a test, but I'm not done with my homework, and I'm also not done with this. So it just kind of seems to happen all at once and just makes me, I just can't do anything. Those are all mental, but physically it also hurts because I already have back problems as it is. So whenever I have to try and use right-handed desks, right-handed anything else, it hurts my back actually quite a lot. I know it's not just from writing, it's also from the other problems I have, but I don't need that to add on to everything else. So the first thing I did was to try and figure out, well, in my left hand and my right hand, where do I fit in? Turns out that I actually use half and half, so I really don't have handedness. I'm no-handed at the moment. So I thought that was kind of interesting, and it certainly explained a lot of things about why I use certain hands for certain things. So the next thing I need to do is decide, okay, where do I go from here? Well, you learn to write in school, so I kind of need to put myself through school again, only I had to do it my way, and the way I learned and that I would have time for. So to do that, I developed several things like you would do maybe in elementary school or something to teach yourself to write. One of those was this. You draw basically these racetracks across the page, and you start at the beginning and go through, and it helps you with control. You race against yourself to see if you can lower the time that you take, and it's just a fun way to practice with using a pencil, pen, whatever. The other thing I did was, I did do the whole ABC thing like you do whenever you were in kindergarten where you write on line paper and everything, but I also did this. I practiced with sentences on random, slants and curves and all this other stuff, and it could help me see where I needed to work on. Like curved letters for me were horrible, so it kind of showed what I need to work on. My favorite thing was when you play piano, the melody is usually in your right hand. And because I've always used my left hand for writing, it's always been stronger. So this was a chance for me to better my piano skills and also better my writing skills by practicing music or scales. So I need to keep myself honest about doing all this stuff because sometimes I'll come up with an idea and be like, I'm going to do it, and then I don't. So I made a journal, and in it I wrote down everything that I was supposed to do that day, and I do a checklist, and then I write like notes next to it, like what I did, what I noticed and everything, or just left it blank if nothing really happened. So some days were good, really good. I could see improvement, and I could actually get through writing after notes in class pretty well with my right hand, and that was just kind of a big boost for my self-esteem, made me feel good about myself. But unfortunately for me, I get really stressed out very easily and stuff, so there were basically a lot more days when I was like this. Because, I mean, there was improvement there, but I just couldn't see it as much, which frustrated me because it just made me feel like I was doing this for basically nothing at all, because I can only see that then. I didn't see the big picture. But when I actually took the time to step back and look at it, I could really see the improvement. That's one of the first times I wrote, and this is kind of now. You can actually see the improvement because the A actually looks like an A, not like a rhombus with a tail. So that made me really excited to actually see that I've actually come some distance from where I started. And so that makes me a lot happier. And I mean, I can smile a lot more about it because, I mean, I can't write as fast as I'd like to yet. It just takes more practice. But it kind of makes me feel a little bit more de-stressed, which is what I need, because, I mean, college is stressful enough as it is without writing something as silly as writing. So I'd really like to continue this experiment because in the end what's important to me is being comfortable with myself, not getting frustrated at myself. Because, I mean, other people can beat you up enough as it is. You don't need to beat yourself up over something that you can't really help.
So let's start just with constructive feedback. There's plenty of positive things to keep on here. Let's try to see whether there are any areas in the presentation that you could use some help, and then we'll go to project. So what sort of thoughts do you guys have?
The only thing I saw with the presentation is when you said that you were no-handedness and you use certain hands to do certain things. I would like to know which things you do with which hand.
That's great.
I mean, the presentation was like good overall. Maybe a little bit more eye contact. Like I saw you looking like over there a lot. But, I mean, it was good, but just a little bit more eye contact.
Anything else?
You were really relaxed, and you obviously practiced it, or at least it seemed like you practiced it. So I thought it was good seeing you just like really relaxed up there. It makes me nervous when the presenter's nervous. So.
It was very story-like, and I liked how everything connected and went to the next thing.
Yeah, you kept us. It was ultimately a little painful to watch your struggle at the beginning, but you know, you built the tension up, and I'm so proud of you for not like trying to fill that in with talk and just like gaining your composure and then dive in. That was awesome. That was awesome because I would probably sit there and just be like, or jabber on about something completely inane, and so like got my footing. But you really completely exposed yourself, but then you mastered the situation at the same time. Like everyone could see that you're struggling, but you just kind of took hold of it. It's mine. You ran with it. That was awesome. What else? Presentation-wise.
Yeah, I didn't see the beginning, but by the end of it, I think I caught it right after you started. But if you started with the beginning, at the end, you seemed really relaxed by the end of it.
What do you guys think about her slides?
They were really
Yeah, they were simple, but like straight to the point.
I have to say, I think you're definitely in the running for probably one of the most beautiful slideshows that we've seen so far. I mean, really, what was it about it that made it so nice?
They're nice pictures and I don't know.
Well,
There weren't any words
very
on
descriptive.
there.
Yeah, like the words.
Yeah.
I forgot the saying. Where a picture's worth a thousand.